Welcome back to another reaction video, and today we're checking out something pretty special, pretty new, and a little mysterious. The band is called President, and they've teased some music in the past, a lot of intrigue, a lot of hype around them, and I'm really excited to check this one out. I do want to get one thing out the way first and foremost. It's kind of hard to not see all the excitement around this band, and as such, when you log onto YouTube, you see a lot of thumbnails, and I see a lot of people because of the anonymity angle, I guess, linking them to like Sleep Token and stuff like that. I don't care much for that. If in some wild, wonderful universe there was some link, I'm not really bothered about that because this is its own product and I want to enjoy it as such. I want to give it the respect and attention it deserves as its own thing. And I think they deserve that too. So let's continue, shall we? Move that a bit forward and we are good to go. President, in the name of our Father. No, I got that completely wrong. It's President in the name of the Father. Let's see what you got.
Choose to find hope, because hope is choosing to find meaning in a meaningless world.
Okay, hot damn, bro. Okay, that might be the thumbnail. God, so much to say. I really do appreciate when you can hear the decades of work, experimentation, and practice in a musician when their personality comes through. And it's not just in how they interpret the piece of music they're playing, but it's also in their effects and everything they do. As a guitarist, and anyone who's spent any kind of time writing music or being in studio, you'll know that you're forever searching for this kind of elusive distortion or drive that not even you can put your finger on. You can reference other bands and you can kind of go, it's a bit like that, but it's a bit sweeter. It's that, and it's a bit crunchier, and you can never really get it. But I love this because it is this very overdriven kind of crunch. It has a bit of a digital drive to it as well. I'm a big fan. I like how they are being very sharp and deliberate in their production of how that ends in each of those little phrases. But one thing that is very nice for me is when you take something that is quite simple from how your body commits to its rhythm, and you're able to provide little surprises that are quite subtle and maybe even not picked up by somebody who isn't a musician. So like when you're playing drums and you're playing a standard 4/4 beat, but you sneak that snare in and it's not quite sitting in the gap. It's almost in the gap between the gap. So it's the difference between a quarter note, eighth note, 16th note placement, 32nd note placement. It's this very little awkward thing that makes you feel rushed into a part of the phrasing, and then it slows down and drags out and lets your body settle again. And you can adapt to that very quickly, but it is really nice. It's a very mature way of approaching something that is quite simple in its nature. Notes on the vocal, very dragged out, very I don't know how they do it really. It's part amplification, part the mic they capture it through, but it's this almost quite soft and subtle vocal for at least parts of it that's somehow very forward in the mix, and it sounds really, really good. You never know when there's a singer that wears a mask or any kind of costume or something, what part of it is a deliberate affected vocal and what part of it is just because of the mask. Now, typically, even in studio, they wouldn't record with that on. Or maybe they would. But I really like the affected vocal. It's almost like it goes through a radio static, if you will, in parts. And what I mean by that is if you close your vocal down into a tube like this, you get basically a lot of the mid shining through. And if you can add a slight drive to it, now that's an extreme example, but there is something there that's holding back on the bass of it. So when he does release in the chorus, it's really beautiful. It's really perfectly placed. I'm a big fan, and you can tell by how much I'm yapping. Now, he's looking deep in my eyes and he's wearing a bow tie, so he better buy me a drink or things are going to head south. Let's go. Apparently we're not done talking yet. Let's just go back a little. Important note here. And by the way, I fully encourage that you listen to all of the music that I ever check out on your own first. It would be sinful to listen to me breaking it up like this without hearing it in the beautiful way that they all intended it to be. There are bands that make use of a number of environmental effects things. You typically hear it with nature. It's water, it's air, it's wind. And then there are more obvious examples like a Foley artist would use, footsteps. And then there's something else. And this is that something else. It almost sounds a bit like someone's moving something, plates clinking, a stick of a drummer, the drumstick on maybe the actual metal pole of the hi-hat stand. There's all these little things going on in the background. And they are designed to distract from what is your traditional melody. At least that's often the case. I certainly don't know how they intended it to be. We shall see. But they're doing that so that when it goes away, it's not about its placement and when it starts. It's not about when you hear it. It's about when it goes away. That's then leaving you to feel comfortable. It's this uncomfortable unease. When it's removed, it's this excess of comfortability into something that will be either quite heavy or very melodic. That's its intent, at least. There's a phaser on this for sure. Come on, break my heart. Get out of here. Get out of here. Shut the front door. You know, whenever I open a song up, let me close this real quick so we can get intimate. Not like that, just conversational. It's probably a better word for it. When I open up a song and I start listening to it, the first thing I do before I hit play is I look at the length of it. So there's something in the back of my head that knows what the structure is going to be roughly based on that, unless it's very experimental. And then there's something in my head that is trying to ignore that, to just feel it and love it. Now, that ending there, I kind of knew it was at the end of the song. I think the intent is that you feel like one more break is coming, but I had like a good idea that it was finalized, resolved. And I'm a big fan. I really am. I think one of the things about creating music right now and the difficulty around it is that there's a similar problem in all industries, marketing being one of them. But let's talk about music. A 16-year-old with a relatively operational PC can create, distribute, and publish music. And that's difficult because not only is it a higher competition space, it means that more ideas are being more exposed, and it means that the attention for eyes is harder, good or bad for the content. There's pros and cons to everything. I think the more people being able to create music and do everything else, I think that's really, really cool. It sometimes exposes ideas that aren't fully thought through yet, and that can be detrimental to the person who's trying to get eyes on them, but they feel fresh to me. There are a number of bands that I used to listen to in like the early 2000s, still listen to them, that has that kind of deliberate, dragged out vocal. One of the bands actually that I don't listen to and I'm not very familiar with, you'd probably find this hard to believe, is Deftones. And there is this slow, pulled back, elastically stretched element to the vocals, at least what I've heard. And you do see a bit of that over here. Now, it still feels fresh. The distortion on it feels modern, but it feels like theirs. I like the melody and the way that they cycle through ideas quite quickly and aren't scared to repeat them even very formulaic because of how good they are. And so there's a bravery in that as well. And I think it's a fantastic song. It's a great first listen for me, and I'm really looking forward to more. It's difficult to be a band because it's like, what do you put forward first? And then you get kind of judged on that, and that's who you are and everything you are. And then God forbid you have the audacity to release another song. And it's like, well, that doesn't sound like you guys. And it's like, well, who are you guys? We don't know yet. We'll figure it out. We'll get there together. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate your time. And as always, if you are watching this and you enjoy anything you like, please hit the subscribe button. It's helpful to me. And make this little hobby of mine turn into something quite special. It already is, but I'm grateful for your support, for your time, and we'll catch you at the next one. Peace.